Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience. Today, myself and Geoff Fienberg are breaking down the 10 PGA players we are the most excited about for the 2018 season. Not the best players, not who's going to finish the highest in the world rankings or win the most majors or win the FedEx Cup. Just the 10 guys we're excited to watch. We have some notable misses. I have an anti-fun team that I'm going to reveal to everyone, but I do want to let people know, please give the episode a like. Fienberg and I will be back with our weekly breakdowns for every tournament this year, so spread the word around. Let people know. A lot of people forgot. We're back, and we're going to be better than ever for our breakdowns this year. I guarantee. Winners, Geoff.
Hope so, hope so.
Yeah, I can't really guarantee that, but winners!
You know, it's really harder than you think, like, to ask me a simple project. The 10 golfers you're the most excited for. Like, I excruciated over this, and you put something out on Twitter. I didn't want to look at any of the responses because I wanted it to be, like, completely...
I don't know your list. You don't know my list.
I just wanted it to be completely authentic to me. There were no parameters placed on how this list needed to be filled in terms of, like, good players, bad players, scrub players. You just said the players you're most excited about. Fact of the matter is, Pat, there's very few, if like any players that I don't like that I hate.
Yeah.
Like Sabatini, maybe because he's got that, because Duffner said he's the biggest asshole when he was on Stern, like after his PGA championship years ago. So like maybe that's why I don't like him, but there's no one I don't like. So compiling this list was hard. It
was tough for me too. I do want to let people know, like I said, give the episode a like, leave us an iTunes review. That stuff goes such a long way to helping people find the show. So if you're not just physically telling people, doing that sort of thing is basically the equivalent. So please go do that. I want to let everyone know about fantasynational.com as well. If you play on DraftKings, if you bet golf, you just want to see rolling stats, it is the only site that you need. It's simple to use. It has all the stats in one place, a lineup generator, a tournament simulator, a head-to-head betting matchup where you can project out to see if the odds are actually on par with what you need, plus ownership projections for DraftKings, and it's a free trial until December 31st. So until the new year, you can go on the site, try it out for free, and then it becomes premium again, and you know all the people have signed up already. Thank you very much. It's something that I start my research with every single week, and it has every bit of information I need in one spot. So if you only get one sub, get fantasynational.com. Also, the one and done this year. Esser's Pool is done. Josh Burkett and Gup's Corner taken over, so that's one that I'm playing in. That's one that you're playing in. And listen, Josh ran the Super 7 for football, did an excellent job with it. I know he's going to knock this one out of the park. So if you go to gupscorner.com, G-U-P-S, corner.com/one and done, O-N-E, one and done. Or you can find it on my Twitter, on my Facebook page, facebook.com/thepme. It's all up there. It's $50 to play for the year. It's a pretty low investment.
Start Tournament of Champions, so
yeah.
It's sooner than we think.
Oh, deadline is December 31st, so get on it now. Don't put it on the back burner. Forget about it. It's $50. You can have up to 3 entries if you want. That doesn't turn out well for me because I start picking against myself, and it sucks.
I always do one. I get the concept of having more than one, but I have enough heart. I have a hard enough time. I just go with one, and you know, one lottery ball for me.
Okay. 10 players we are excited about for 2018. I'm going to give you the guys who made my anti-list first. The anti-excitement team.
This isn't the just miss. This is like the
No,
guys,
this isn't the just miss. These are just guys that don't excite me. Not to say they're bad players, because a few of them are really, top 5 players in the world. I don't find them exciting. I don't find Jordan Spieth exciting. He's the most boring guy to watch of all time. Justin Thomas, I don't find him exciting.
Even when Jordan's like angry and he's yelling at his
I just don't
ball,
like it. I find him petulant.
I'll say this about Jordan. Nobody thinks the world, when he misses a putt, he literally acts like the world is against him.
Yes.
Guy like Dustin Johnson will just put it back in the hole. Jordan's like something the ball did wrong because he could never do something wrong.
Those are the 2 guys on my list. Spieth and Thomas. I just get no excitement out of them.
At least Spieth, Justin.
I don't dislike them.
I
don't get excited for them.
Thomas I like his wardrobe game. He does the Ralph Lauren. He can be a little bit
look sharp.
different. Yeah.
The pink pants at the U.S. Open were nice. If anyone wants to catch, we broke down all 4 majors with Tim Andercust. That will also be out over. So if you missed that episode, go back and watch it. It'll be good times. I enjoyed it. Filming it a lot and hearing Tim's insane takes. Jordan Spieth, though, now reverse cursed for the Masters. Something to pay attention to. When Tim says things like Jordan Spieth will never win the Masters again, time to go put some money on Jordan Spieth.
Not that he'll never win. Like, Tim would be like shocked.
Yeah, it's inconceivable that he could win.
Like, what? Huh? The guy, what, 1, 2, 2, 5, 11 or
No,
something?
yeah, 1, 2, 2, 11. Jordan Spieth finishes at the Masters.
Inconceivable.
That he could win. All right, so the notable just miss guys on my list. So if they appear on your list, Jeff, just say we'll get to them later.
Okay.
And I have a really big list. I know you have a super short list. So in reverse order. So these are like 22 to 10, basically.
Oh, wow.
And the guy who's the
I didn't get the proper course outline, like in a lot of my classes in school, because I didn't make I missed parts of this project.
I'm sorry, the syllabus didn't
Yes.
factor in everything that you need to know. You're too busy taking the silly bus, and then you got some problems. So Xander Schauffele, Kiradech, Appy Barnrat, Grayson Murray, Martin Keimer, because he's a favorite of mine. I love Martin Keimer, but he's just in the tank right now. Kevin Kisner, Kyle Stanley, two of my favorites, along with Cam Smith, another favorite of mine. It's like watching these guys play. Dylan Fratelli. Dylan Fratelli is going to be the guy that comes over this year and plays in WGCs and stuff like that. No one's going to know who he is, but he's actually really good.
Been really good. South African.
He's the next wave.
Yeah.
Then I go Ty Hatton, TYRRELL Hatton. Very excited. I like how fired up he gets on the course and starts yelling at people. Jason Day is on that list. Full-time PGA Tour member in 2018, Peter UIHLEIN. I'm excited to see how his game transitions from Europe.
Talk about him.
And the one I know is on your list for sure. He's my number 11, but I left Patrick Cantlay just off. I am not as excited as other people are for Patrick Cantlay.
Okay, this is, I guess, in a no particular order. Just missed a couple guys that we do have the same. X-Men.
The X-Men. Speaking to the mic.
X-Men and Cam Smith.
Yep.
There's a guy
Into the mic.
There's a guy I intentionally didn't put on the list because I won't even name him now because I know he's on your list.
Okay.
So we'll just save that one. This is almost a cheating, but just Golf Canada in general, because even though it was like Fridays, they showed up on a lot of leaderboards, like at times throughout the year.
Watch out for Ben Silverman. He was a swing season DraftKings sensation. You know who loved him? You know how I ended up with him in a ton of DraftKings lineups? FantasyNational.com simulator.
Yeah.
Loved Ben Silverman.
And sounds like he's celebrating Hanukkah. So happy Hanukkah, Benjamin Silverman. Woodland, I know that's a weird one, but he was playing his best golf almost ever in that Florida swing. And then there was a bit of a family situation. And I don't know, man. He's like a never win. He couldn't beat Super Nintendo Chalmers a couple years ago to Subfield.
Barbasol.
Yeah, but it's the scoring, the stable first.
Oh, yeah,
So I just want the guy to win. Sergio, just now that monkey's off, I'm just so excited. He's got such swag. It feels like he walks around like wearing the green jacket to Rory's wedding, like just being such a boss. Like just being such a boss.
He waited long enough.
Yeah.
He can celebrate however he wants.
He goes to like Wimbledon. Like he is freaking owning it. Like at his wedding, doing the dance and like I just love it. And as we spoke about on our major show, we're both got high hopes for him
at the Open Championship.
For a revenge game at Carnoustie. And then just because I feel it would almost be disingenuous to talk about them. Yes, I'm excited, but I don't want to put them on the list. And that's Reed and DJ. And that might be weird.
We'll get to one of those guys later.
Yeah, so, okay. For obvious reasons.
There's one other person I would like to add to the anti-excitement list. Justin Rose could win 40 straight events, and he would never excite me. Not to say that I won't bet on him. Not that he's not good. It's just he doesn't excite me whatsoever. He's one of the most boring guys I've
And Dustin, fully excites me when his putter gets going. I don't care if it's 5-1. Like, he'll make so many birdies. You just got to find a way to include him. But he's like the girl I date. We used to date, but that's when he was in elementary school and he didn't blossom into a pinup model. As a pinup model, it's kind of out of my league. So we're still friends. We're still friends. When he comes in for RBC, stalked him at Glen Abbey. That was fun. But I don't know. There's nothing that it's all there. So I don't know if we'll talk about him later or the other guy. And Reed just played too much, and he's got to win. That's about it.
All right, let's get to your list. Who is number 10 on your list?
Number 10 from Espanol, Rafa Cabrera Bello.
Okay. Why does Rafa Cabrera Bello excite you? We were just if you watch the major show, we were just talking about him for the PGA Championship.
Yeah, just his scoring averages on the European Tour last year were just phenomenal.
Handsome fella too.
Yeah. I think there's going to be a lot of wins for Spanish golf this year. I think he's going to break through quite a bit more. We've seen him on leaderboards at big tournaments in North America. But I think there's no doubt in my mind that he's lifting a North American PGA Tour trophy this year.
I like Rafa. Didn't make my list, but he's someone I can see myself because RAHM and Sergio get overvalued so much that everyone always forgets he's the other Spanish golfer who's really good, and he's undervalued because of it. Like, even when you get to majors, it'll be like top Spaniard, and you'll have RAHM and Sergio, and they're like even money, and Rafa Cabrera was like 8-1. He's generally a pretty decent bet.
Yeah, and I'm very confident he's going to France and representing the European Ryder Cup team.
Three Spaniards on the Ryder Cup team?
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah, then you have to watch out for like Gregory Evray and Victor Dubesson getting the captain's pick.
One of them could weasel one, like a Gallagher when they were in
Scotland
a few years ago. But I don't know. So yeah, I got Ryder Cup hopes for Rafa and a big season on the PGA Tour.
Number 10 on my list, a player that I don't even really like all that much, but I do find him very exciting, and I'm really curious to see where his career goes now, because he was bad last year. It's Bubba Watson.
I love him being on the list because, like, just in terms of, like, excited to see it, Bubba good and Bubba bad are both very entertaining things to watch. So, yeah, just I didn't think about it, but in hindsight, that's a great call to be on the list, I think.
Do you think he gets his game back together? No more pink ball.
Yeah, he dropped the pink ball, so at least he's not disrespecting the golf gods.
He had a case of the skinnies going on last year. Maybe you should pull a Jason Day and gain 30 pounds.
The real scary thing last year for Bubba is, like, even at Bubba courses, he was horrible, whether it was, like, Travelers or Phoenix. Masters. Like, places that's, like, we're not really Bubba guys, but, like, you know when it's to be on Bubba. And at those types of like he was horrible. He was horrible. So that, but good or bad, it's fun. And we kind of talked about it. This is a guy that we've run to with like 14, 16, 18-1 Masters tickets. If he finds a semblance of his game early.
Watch him at Riviera. He's the year that, I mean, when he won at Riviera, he ended up winning the Masters. I think he won the Masters that year as well because he came second at Doral at that WGC. But Riviera is always one of my big corollary courses, along with Dubai. Whoever wins Dubai, just bet them to win the Masters.
But I'm just, just in terms of Bubba alone, like if you see signs of life from Bubba that maybe that old guy's there, the 60-1 Masters numbers that are out there seem like fantastic value because, like I said, the numbers to think that we bet him there in recent years.
Yeah, like me jumping on me like 18-1 on Bubba. Yeah, I'm in.
Auto, 14 Masters, Augusta, the fit, everything works.
And the weird part is like at the RSM Classic, he's 90-1 for the Masters right now. He's still 60, which is just hilarious.
Exciting. He's easy to like. He's easy to hate. So
he's a polarizing player. Like I said, I'm not a big Bubba fan, but I do like to see him out there.
Yeah.
Another guy I probably should have put on the just miss list. I like Ian Poulter too. He's not my top 10, but I'm throwing him out there.
I never root against him.
I like Poulter. I'd like to see him win something.
That would be nice.
All right, who's number 9 on your list?
Number 9, he was on your just missed. I'm really excited, taking the Brooks Koepka path, Peter Uihlein. Again, if you look at the players in Europe last year that outdid Uihlein in terms of scoring average, it is your Fleetwoods, it is your Sergio's, Pat, it is your super elite players that were the ones outdoing Uihlein on the European Tour.
He bombs it.
Florida guy, much like Berger, much like Brooks. Peter Uihlein's a guy I'm really excited about.
Honda Classic? Like, do you think he gets it going early?
I'm put it this way. We saw a lot of guys from the European Tour last year come over here on courses that they've never played before, and they played pretty well. Whether it be your Hattons, your Fleetwoods, they all came through Florida, and I'm like, they've never been here before, and they all impressed me. I'm expecting Uihlein, a Florida guy, to be very undervalued, Pat. This is a guy that I think we'll be talking about throughout the year. And, who is even I don't even know who second place is. I know it's early because it's Christmas. But for Rookie of the Year, to me, like, if there's an odd for that, to me, it'd be a clear favorite.
Well, I don't know about that because we'll get to another guy on my list, a PGA rookie, who I like a little bit more.
Well, that's my 9, and I'm really excited.
I'm excited for you.
And from the school of Cam Stewart. Like, is there ever a European Tour event Cam wasn't, like, complaining that Uihlein didn't do enough? But how much did Brooks win on Europe? Once?
I don't even think he won.
Yeah, he just went there. He got his feet wet. It's different.
Learn how to be a pro.
These guys, they travel. the European Tour travel schedule is like insane.
Well, you're traveling to different countries
Yeah.
all the time. At least in the States. Like, hey, I'm going from LA to Phoenix. No big deal. That's a Peter Uihlein spot, though, just like it was for Brooke. Remember when we hammered Brooks?
Oh, my God.
It is like
yeah.
no one knew who he was. We got Brooks at 40-1 in Phoenix. He ended up coming back and winning, making that eagle putt on 16. So nice. I can see Uihlein being in a similar spot this year.
And I feel like there'll be a lot of places with like wind and be like, oh, the guy was like 2 years in Europe. He must be great wind player.
That doesn't always necessarily hold true, though. Wind is so weird. Like, the only guy I can comfortably say is good in the wind is BRANDT SNEDEKER.
Yeah, fair.
Who happens to be next on my list.
Okay. I love your list. It just guys I wasn't really thinking of, but it makes total sense. Even though BRANDT should never really get anyone too excited.
BRANDT is my favorite player to watch.
Because he's fast.
He's fast. The guy, Rickie's also very fast, but like, BRANDT's one of the best short game putters on tour. How long does he read putts for? Like 2 seconds? He's like, oh, I got to hit it here. Now I'm going to go up and hit it. Like, if speed golf ever comes into play, BRANDT SNEDEKER will have a career resurgence. I'm just worried, and one of the reasons that I'm excited to see him play is he's not qualified for the Masters right now, so he's going to have to get himself in. He went over to Indonesia to try to get himself inside the top 50 and had to quit because of, like, heat stroke and dehydration. And like, he missed from the U.S. Open on last year with rib injuries, with wrist injuries. I just want to see him back at full health. I just find he's fun to watch. Like, if you have a leaderboard of, like, 8 guys that they're flipping in between on a Sunday, they're always going to show BRANDT because it only takes 10 seconds to show him. He's not Jordan Spieth, who's lining up his layup 3-wood on a par 5 for 15 minutes. He's just going to set up, and he's going to rack it, and that's going to be it. I love it.
And listen, if you're a guy that appreciates, I mean, when you see in BRANDT's bag, it must be the least technology advanced golf set on tour. So when he wins, it's like extra credit because he's playing with like 90s gear.
Yeah, he might as well get a Von Taylor's travel bag. Just hold him in that.
May as well. Yeah, you said it. And
like, he's going to be someone fun to watch because of the incentive over the first part, where he generally plays well, too.
One at Torrey, one at Pebble. It'll be interesting. Might be a really good
he'll be
DraftKings type guy to own in a lot of those early events.
He'll be undervalued on the betting odds, too, right away. Until he flashes form, BRANDT might be like an auto bet guy at 50-1, 60-1, because his class of play is going to be way higher than most people in the field.
Yeah, and he also sets up perfectly. I don't know if he's going to go to like the career builders.
Yeah, if he starts playing in those, then you really got to put an eye on BRANDT, because listen, he's going to try his damnedest. The only thing he cares about, honestly, is winning Augusta.
Literally, because I say it many times when we talk about him. He has said he would give his whole in his Faraday from 1 or 2 years ago. He would give his whole career back for that one Sunday at the Masters back. To think that he wouldn't be there, I'm rooting for him. Like, that's a fact.
Also, a fun fact with BRANDT SNEDEKER is when you're around people who don't watch a lot of golf, and like if I'm over at a buddy's place and I'm like, hey, check on the golf, and BRANDT SNEDEKER's in it, every time he comes up on TV, he's so pale that people think that there's something wrong with their contrast. So that's always exciting.
It is funny. You see him on like some real hot events, and the sunscreen is it's kind of like how I'd wear it. Yeah, and his hair's good. He rocks a high crown sometimes. I'm a fan.
Remember speaking to the mic. You get off. You start looking at things, and you get off the mic. There you go. Put it right in front of you. Who is your number 8?
My number 8 is one of my favorite players. Maybe people would have thought he'd be higher on the list. I think he deserves to be in the discussion of the first-time major winners. I also believe that if I had to bet maybe on anybody to become a first-time, two-time winner in a season, it'd be Daniel Berger, Pat.
Okay. Going for back-to-back-to-back at the St. Jude.
Yeah, I think we can get off the mat and win somewhere else other than St. Jude, but it's that competitive fire, man. Like, I just love the guy. Spieth had to bunker out to beat him
at Travelers.
At the Travelers. He plays to win. He hits those 10-foot par putts like they mean everything in the world. This is a guy that took money from pros when he was 14 years old. I believe in his big game ability.
The way that people are talking about Xander Schauffele this year is how we were all talking about and being excited for Daniel Berger last year.
Okay, fine. But in defense of Daniel, even though he only won the amount, every single year in his career, he's gotten better.
Agreed.
Like
but
every year, like maybe it was not as much better as
but
you
now
would have hoped.
the China's off now. Like, people aren't super excited for new Daniel Berger anymore. It's now someone else. So now it gets Daniel Berger back. We're going to get better numbers on Daniel Berger this year.
I'm excited.
For sure. And there was a stretch of last year where he just wasn't playing well. And then he got it back together again. But he was more inconsistent last year than I felt like he was 2 years ago.
And I'll be honest, you were the first person to put him on my radar.
Honda Classic lost in the playoff. We got to hedge on Patty on the stupid Monday finish.
So, I'm a big fan of burgers. And
also celebrating Hanukkah.
Yeah, and he rocks that Lacoste gear. And I'm just, like I said, I think he's in the conversation of first-time major winners. I think he is going to win 2 times.
Watch him through Florida.
More confident in the 2 regular wins than I am maybe in the major win.
As you probably should be.
That being said, also very confident. He holds his spot from the President's Cup and is going to France with Team USA.
You can't put everyone on the team.
They're not all on the team, but he is on the team. It's young. It's USA Golf, and he's part of it. That young influx of
Phil
killers.
Tiger, Daniel Berger, Justin Thomas. Cooch could still be on the team.
We can do the math at the end.
Okay.
But Berger's on the team.
For me, number 8 on my list, my pick to be Rookie of the Year. Already has a win in the bag. Has already cashed a 90-1 bet for me and viewers of the Pat Mayo Experience. A guy that, weirdly, because you know, that I've been kind of on for like 2.5 years. He just didn't have a PGA Tour card. But every time he'd show up, he'd come top 25. Like, who the hell is this guy? Austin Cook is good.
Too many.
He's too many cooks. You can't have too many cooks, unless you include Jared Cook, who's the worst. But I'm just fired up for him to play Career Builder and Valspar. I think he could win another one of those ones.
Yeah. How many? Yeah. If this guy's going to start, 25, 28 times this year, I could see that happening. And I didn't really think to put him on mine because I 100% knew he was showing up on yours. But, yeah.
Like, I think that people may think that his win was a fluke. Which it very well could be. I don't happen to think it was. I've seen a long enough track record for how he competed on the PGA Tour as a non-member, as a sponsor invite, and just showed up every single time. Like playing in the final group on a Sunday and then ended up getting beat by, I want to say Sergio in Texas one year. Like, he's been in these events. It's kind of crazy. Like, he has the backlog of stuff where he's been in the mix and had terrible Sundays. Now he goes out in the swing season and he wins. I think he's primed for a good year. Yeah. Like, I don't think he's going to be a top 10 player in the world, but I'm excited to watch him, almost like I was with Hadwin last year, where you start watching Hadwin, you're like, this guy's pretty good. Yeah. And then he ends up breaking through and winning. I could see it happening again for Austin Cook. So that's my PGA Tour Rookie of the Year pick.
And I, by osmosis, will probably be betting him a lot because I don't want to come in here after the weekend when you're all Austin Cook monies. So I'll, have to have sprinkles.
Hey, listen, I could bet him every tournament for the next 6 years or so, and I'd still be up money on Austin Cook. So thanks a lot, Austin Cook. Number 7 on your list.
He probably should be higher because he's better.
Don't move it over there because it's going to force you
then
not
I
to
worry
speak into the
you're
mic.
going to see it.
I'm not looking at it. Okay. I promise you I won't look at it.
And it's probably impossible for you to see anyway.
I'm concentrating on what I'm up to over here.
Nonetheless, he should be higher. His game is legit. He's going to be a staple in the top 5 in the world for so many years to come. But his first run around last year has me so excited for round 2, and that's Jon Rahm.
We'll get to him later.
Yeah, he should be one. I almost feel like it's I'm doing a disservice being this high, and it's almost like I'll say the next couple guys who are higher. It's all pretty equal. It's all pretty equal.
But we'll get to Rahm when he has made an appearance on my list. He is higher on my list than he is on yours.
He deserves to be higher. I already feel like he's totally missed. Forget rankings. He's on the list. That's all that matters.
Number 7 on my list, and I think this might be someone who could be higher on your list. Tommy Fleetwood. I get fired up for Tommy Fleetwood. I love just he's got great swag. I love his tee to green game. He can barely putt. It's kind of funny, but sometimes it just clicks, and then he's making everything. The putter left him in the 4th round of the U.S. Open. Before that, he was nails on every putt. And the one putt he had to make to really win us all the money was on 18, the 72nd hole of the U.S. Open. When the putter had left him all day, he had an 8-footer for par to clinch his solo top 5. He fucking made it, and it was glorious.
He is a bit lower on my list, but we can talk about it now because I kind of cheated.
Okay.
That's the one point in the list where I cheated. I condone this, Tommy. If there's still the 80s out there to win the Masters, I would.
He's 80-1 at every major besides the Open Championship, where he's 40-1. Currently, as of December 20th.
I believe in everything that is Tommy Fleetwood. The way he stands over those putts, he's so committed on the greens. When he's in form, he can compete with the best in the world.
He runs hot, too.
He runs hot. He runs fire hot. And I'm going to say this right now. It's kind of a cheat, but I'm going to skip ahead because it's 5 on my list was Tommy. But I cheated. It's the one spot. I didn't have a good enough nickname, but I just like the 3. To me, the Fleetwood, Hatton, Fitzpatrick are all one. I just kind of called it a British invasion. It's almost like we're disrespecting Ross Fisher, who I think should be respected. I don't think he should be talked about. Players we're excited about. But I'm just so excited.
Well, maybe we'll get to this when we talk about Matthew Fitzpatrick. Ross Fisher might be better than Matthew Fitzpatrick. Matthew Fitzpatrick's not that great.
I think I'm really excited for all 3 of those guys. I believe they have 8 games. I believe it's PGA Tour time for all of them. Last year we saw Fleetwood and Hatton show up. My only concern is, like, I don't know, they never played these courses. Like, they're playing the Florida swings with, like, all these guys that have all these
But now they've played it.
Yeah, but they were so good. And even in WGC Mexico, no one been there. What does Tommy do?
Goes out and hits wedges to 2 feet every time.
Crushes it, if not for what, DJ's heater.
And RAHM's heater.
Yeah.
And Snedeker's, like, 12 under in the final round to, like, come back and, like, throw a wrench into it.
Okay, so maybe I forget how he finished, but
I think he was 5th.
I'm just so impressed. And now these guys get to run these tracks another time. Oh, man.
And I like that.
Man. And maybe I'm too high on Fitzpatrick, but for the time being.
Into the mic.
For the time being, they're still there for me, Pat. And I've mentioned it a few times. It's players like Hatton and Fleetwood. They have to step up because after Jon Rahm, they are that next line of this. USA Golf has so much, from JT to Brooks to Berger. Like, they have this influx of young players that, like, oh, my God. For Europe, for me.
Spieth also, by the way.
Spieth is already there. Like, but yes,
he's
Ricky,
like 23.
I know, it's funny. But Ricky and Spieth, like, this is influx of young USA Golf that, like, could run amok for a lot of years.
And you're looking at the Euro side.
And it's like after Rahm, it's like Hatton and Fleetwood as these young guys that gotta carry this stuff.
It is, but like when you look at the European team, you're looking at Rose, you're looking at Casey,
Sergio,
Sergio.
Kenzie, I believe they changed the rules, so Casey can play.
Well,
now.
he went and got his European tour card back, so he
took a lot of heat.
Yeah, but like Poulter's going to be on that team.
No, he won't.
Yeah, he will. They're bringing Poulter.
Maybe as a captain. He's got to play well.
Poulter was like a top 25 player for the final 6 months.
Yeah, he's got to do it again.
If he can tread water where he is right now.
He doesn't have the carte blanche of making it like he did a few times ago.
He doesn't, but if it's fringy and it comes like you cross off GMAC, he's not going to be.
No, I don't even cross. But maybe Poulter, like a Paul Dunn. I don't know. Anyway, the next one.
You really? If it came down,
no, I don't want it. I would rather Poulter.
Paul Dunn would have to be on a fucking heater.
Yes,
to be a captain's pick over Poulter.
You're right. We're having 2 different conversations. I'm sort of just trying to go back to, like, who are those young players that, like, there's no end to them, it seems, on USA Golf.
One of the big things that I love about Tommy Fleetwood is that he already had his, like, career dip. Because he was good, like, 4 years ago, and he was coming onto the scene. He was the British AM. Like, he's going to be awesome. And he was awesome for, like, 6 months. And then his game went in the toilet. And he was bad for like a year and a half. And now, at the beginning of last year, all of a sudden, he's just ascending again. It's almost like I said with like Kevin Kisner when I talked about him on the major show. Like, I like that he's been through the ringer. He's lost events. He's competed. He's lost. And what happened? He came back and finally won. He got over the hump. And I think that goes a long way. Like, there's no adversity that's really going to, like, knock him out of it. He's been through that already. Now he can just go win. He was even like Dustin in all those majors all those years. He came so close, so close, so close. If it didn't happen, it may have never happened for him. But as soon as he broke through and won the U.S. Open, he just won everything all the time. I can see the same thing happening with Fleetwood.
I love Tommy Fleetwood. I'm throwing 0 cold water. I like all these young Brits. He would definitely be number 1, though. Okay. Like, if you had to power rank them. And quickly, because Hatton, it's just his temper can sometimes.
We'll get to him when he's on your list.
Well, I already skipped. Like, we're done. I did my
we'll get to
invasion.
those other 2. Number 6 on your list.
I need to just confirm it, but I know it. Yeah, this is Oliver Schneiderjans.
Okay, so this is someone that I wanted to kind of bring up. And maybe it's because they both don't wear hats and they have the exact same haircut. You know how we always compare Matthew Fitzpatrick? Daniel Berger is like the American equivalent? I think Ollie Schneiderjans is the American equivalent to Matthew Fitzpatrick. You want to talk about?
So you don't think he's very good?
I think Ollie's good. I think Ollie could win this year. But I think he's the same skill level as Matthew Fitzpatrick. I think Berger's just way better.
Maybe, but I'm excited because I fully expect Ollie to break through this year. There are so many courses that are tight.
You want
that's
to
short
talk about a
and
guy
tight.
who needs to make a 4-foot putt to win a tournament, who's not making it, at least based on last year? Ollie Schneiderjans.
All right, there's a guy on your list too. I feel the same way.
And I feel the same way about him too. I just get excited for him.
And I like them both. That being said, I just think like his ball flight, there's going to be some of these tracks that he's just going to crush. These shorter, tight tracks that we can't like auto ollies for days.
He needs to make a leap.
I'm expecting it.
And if you expect it, he's going to be a really good player this year.
And I'm really excited for him. I got nothing else.
Got nothing else? All right, number 6 on my list is probably the guy that you were just referencing. He bombs it. He makes a ton of birdies. You know what he can't do? Putt. Tony Finau, the DFS darling.
Love Finau. He was on my just missed, who I didn't even mention because I knew he would have been on my list had I not like 100% known he'd be on yours. So there's time to talk about him.
He's fun, man. He's a fun guy. He's like Johnny Vegas is very similar. Just they're fun to watch. Their types of games are fun.
So fun. Least favorite thing about Tony Finau
is he can't putt.
Is okay, fine. No, it's not even about that. Guys, he'll get himself back in doing all the putting, all the chipping, hitting like a 30-foot bomb, and then the next hole, like the 12-footer. And then it's like, oh my God, the leader just made a bogey, and the announcers are like, Finau just stuck the par 3 to 4 feet, and he's the second he like is finally like, oh my God, he's in it. He can't hit a thing. And he's a baby, and I'm so excited.
He's also super young. By the way, a really good season from him could get him on the U.S. Ryder Cup team. He was so close. Yeah. Like, just flipped 2 of the events. Like, he contended, 10 events last year? Flipped 2 of them in his favor. He's on the team.
Sure. I wouldn't shock me one bit. Another part of this influx of young USA golfers. He's
figure it out. I hope he spent the entire break learning how to putt.
He started to really compete. I think there was a run where he was getting lessons from Stricker. So keep doing that.
Yep.
And it'll all work. It'll all work. I believe you. His only win is what? A swing season Puerto Rico?
Puerto Rico.
That's ending. But he's got it.
He needs to get himself into the top 50 in the world so he can start playing in all these WGCs because those events are sort of geared for his game. No cut. Go out and just bomb it.
Yeah, I would agree. Also, the other side of it there is, I mean, we mentioned on our major show that Fantasy Golf National, just from a metrics point,
FantasyNational.com, as in the simulator right now, and again, it's not the full field because not everyone is qualified. Right now, to bet Tony Finau to win the Masters is 100-1. By the simulation, based on the stats that line up the best for Augusta, Tony Finau should be 33-1. Now, that does not factor in that he's not going to win the Masters.
Yeah, so, and that he can't the 4-footer.
Yeah,
at the Masters. That being said, I'm worried about the events we're going to want him, the number.
They're going to be bad.
Because
people are savvy to it.
Yeah, there's no secret about him.
I think the best spot we can get him in early in the season, I think if he plays it, will be like Genesis, where like Dustin will be there, Bubba will be there. You'll have some big names playing Riviera, and instead of being like 18-1, 20-1, he'll be like 35, 40-1. I think that's probably your best spot for him. But I'm just excited to watch him play. I like him a lot.
But I do believe
he'll win at Glen Abbey this year.
It wouldn't shock me one bit. But I do believe to me he has the game that can win. I mean, not a major, but like a very strong field. A field where really a lot of the guys are freaking there.
We always talk about players that when they're running their best, who's the best? And I still think it's Rory. I think that when Rory's running the best, he's the best. It's just he rarely runs at his best. That's the problem. Finau, when he's running at his best, I don't know if he's on the level of those guys, but his skill set, a lot like Luke List. Luke List didn't make my list, but Finau's like the better Luke List is essentially what he is.
He has a poor man's Dustin Johnson skill set.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
In terms of that type of player, it's Dustin, then Finau, then Luke List.
Yeah, and you're always looking for, and like you said, if it clicks.
He's on. He's driving the ball 330 down the middle every time. That would be Tony Finau. Who's number 5 on your list?
So 5 for me, I don't know. If there was a 4th, maybe I would have called them the Beatles, but it's just these young British golfers. Fleetwood, Hatton. I throw Fitzpatrick into that mix.
I've come off as very anti-Matthew Fitzpatrick.
You have.
It's just I don't think he's on the level of those other guys. I think that he's a good player, and I think there are certain spots that you want to use Matthew Fitzpatrick and really deploy him. Low ball flight, hits a lot of fairways.
So he's just Cam Smith? Is that his?
He's better Cam Smith, but Who's better, Kisner or Matthew Fitzpatrick?
Very similar, but if when
I think I would take Kisner.
because there's a lot older.
But I also think that Matthew Fitzpatrick gets overrated because he wins the Nordia Masters. Like, we see him win on the European Tour against these fields that are kind of suspect. I know he has a good Masters track record, but that is also one of the reasons why I think people overrate him. Like,
I had him last year at the Masters, so he had a great first round.
He did.
And then
He ended up top 10, I think.
Yeah.
But he has a good Augusta track record. But I think the times that you see him play, you're either not watching him and hear that he wins a tournament in Europe, or you see him at the Masters and he's playing well. Other than that, like, when's he ever any good? He goes to the Heritage every year and sucks. And that should be a course specifically designed for him.
Okay, fair.
Hatton wins, man. And he gets fired up and tells people to fuck off all the time. He's great. He's like a surly Brit.
Love Hatton. Love
So
Hatton.
personality-wise, I'm far more fired up for Tyrrell Hatton than I am Matthew Fitzpatrick. And listen, Fitzpatrick not only looks the baby part, he is a baby as well. Maybe, like Ollie, maybe he takes a leap and just has a better overall game. I'm not saying that can't happen. Just the way that he has been talked about. Like, you even mentioned when people ask you, like, who's the guy that you bet on for the Masters right now, the long shot, the Danny Willett of this year. Every single person has said Matthew Fitzpatrick. It is not dissimilar.
Is it everyone, or is it just like Baroff and myself?
It's golf Twitter.
Okay.
He's everyone's favorite guy. A lot like how Alex Noren was exactly the same way last year. Like, get off Matthew Fitzpatrick's jock. Let's see him do something, like, real first. Let's see if he can win outside the Czech Republic and Sweden.
All right. Is he playing in the Dubai Master?
Yeah, if he wins that, then I'm going to change my tune. Number 5 on my list. Any guesses? There's one more Pat Mayo favorite that's on this list, and this is him.
I don't know.
His name, the reigning Players Champion. See, Woo Kim. You want to talk about like a Rory type player, where if they're playing their best, they're unstoppable? He's one of those guys. Unfortunately, it happens twice a year. But he has entered Martin Keimer territory for me now, that I will bet him at any number in every event across the board, because until he wins, he's constantly undervalued for his actual win equity.
Yeah. And then he's only, and then
like, you just want to stop betting him for 5 weeks.
But like the 2-3 weeks after he wins, the 5-6 weeks after he wins, his odds are shit. But that's like,
then it goes away immediately.
Yeah.
Then he's shit, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, no one remembered. Yeah, I agree. He is absolutely your new Martin Keimer with better odds. In defense of Siwoo, I'll also say
he needs to win a major. By the way, get out of the army duty.
Oh God, that's right.
And the Players doesn't count. If he had won a bronze medal at the Olympics, he would have got out of it.
There's the Olympics and there's like Asian games that can also.
He might go play in that, but it just
when if an American golfer, white babyface, won twice in a calendar year,
and their
odds would not be what Siwoo Kim's are on a weekly basis. I'll leave that at that.
Put it this way. I always do him with the T5, like the each-way bet as well, and he's already returned all the money I need off of him because he came T5 at the OHL Classic, and he was 140-1 for some reason. He's like the best player in the field. Like, it's so ridiculous how, I think people just get him confused with the other Asian guys. I really do. So when they see, like, the betting sheet, like, oh, I don't know who's who. I think that happens in women's golf a lot, too. Just no one knows particularly who the person is when you see the names.
On a much, like, way, way back scale, maybe it should have been considered for my, like, not even just miss, but, like, even, like, Kang and Pan, I kind of have my eye on as well.
I like Sung Kang. I like Wee Kim. I like him, too. But Siwoo is the best of the bunch. But the fun thing and why I get excited about him is that, like, I never play him on DraftKings, for one thing. That is one thing I will not do. Just bet him. Just bet him outright, because he's either going to win or come dead last. Because he can be so bad. And I don't know how it happens. He's hurt all the time, or he's just horrible for 2 rounds, but just something clicks, and all of a sudden, he is rolling. You get him in tournaments where you can use wedges, that's where you want him. Right. Like WGC Mexico, if he gets in that, watch him there.
Shouldn't he be in that?
He should be. I think he's dropped back down to like 41st in the world. Because after he won the Players, he was like 20th all of a sudden. But he has 2 wins in the last, 16 months? Yeah. And one giant win where, who is it? Addox hit him at 500-1 to win the Players. That's right. That's ridiculous.
That's right. Oh, man, what a tip. Yeah, that was a tip.
Wish I was on that one. I was not.
Wasn't.
All right, number 4 on your list.
So this is the guy.
You're buying the Patrick Cantlay Kool-Aid.
This is
what you're
Patrick
saying.
Cantlay. Okay, hold on a second. Am I buying the Kool-Aid? I don't know how much. Well, no. I'm buying the Kool-Aid because I did mention he could win the U.S. Open when we just did another show. So I'm fully
Actually, no,
buying.
you didn't mention that he could win the U.S. Open. He was your pick to win the U.S. Open.
From like the guys that were in at the top. That's my pick. Fast greens. Here's the thing.
Figure out how to chip, and you're there.
For the purpose of this list, I think he's an exciting player to have an eye on.
I agree.
Because even if he bottoms out, like we're watching him, he played 12 times last year, made L12 cuts. We're not going to think that's going to be a 20, 25 starts this year, to my understanding. Ryder Cup captain's pick potential, in my opinion. Although the captain's pick thing gets dicey because we've spoken about that. You know, Phil and Tiger captain's pick, that kind of changes the game. And now the captain's picks are going to go. Man, this guy's got it all. And I would argue he has been through a bit of a ringer.
Oh, he has been. He's dealt with life adversity. So
Yeah.
golf is just free roll for him.
Yeah, golf.
This time.
Yeah, so I'm a huge fan. Win or lose, I'm completely cheering for the guy. I want to see all the best. And the way your Jordan Spieth and these other young American golfers talk about him and regard him makes him think he's high on this list, but makes him think a lot of the hype we're seeing he is in many ways worthy of, and for the purposes of being excited to see what a player is going to do, good or bad, he is in my top 5.
He was number 11 on my list. I am excited to see him. It's just, okay, let me ask you this then, because we just went through all like the major odds. He's basically either 60 to 1 or 66 to 1 at every major. Either he's supremely overvalued or he's horribly undervalued. It's one of the two.
He will not.
He's not a 66 to 1 golfer. He's either right now a 125 to 1 golfer, or he's a 20 to 1 golfer.
I agree.
And he just
I don't think he can win the Masters because you said it. The chipping isn't there, but I think he can win the 2020 Masters, 2021 Masters.
So you just think he continues to get better and better and better and better.
Yeah, and the way I think he putts and the way he putts on hard greens and fast greens, I think makes him a player that can certainly compete. And he got the win, and he lost to, was it Hadwin? We hit Hadwin.
Yeah, we hit Hadwin 100 to 1.
So that was big.
And that's that was the first time we all saw this guy can't play out of the sand. This guy can't chip. Because that's what cost him. He would have won. He would have beat Hadwin at Valspar. Could he have had any semblance of a short game?
So I believe his spot on the list is justified because forgetting the super elites in the game, I'm as excited to see what 2018 has for him.
It's also your list. You can be excited about whoever you want to.
Yeah, no, 100% is my list. You don't have to at me about my list at all.
And listen, in the comments, make your own list. Send us your list. We're excited. Listen, I had to trim down my list from 25 into 10. Yeah. Like, Cam Smith could be on this list for me. I like Cam Smith.
It was hard. I don't not like anybody, but I'm really excited and intrigued by what this season has for Cantlay. And I mean, comparable, who's going to be better, Cantlay or Xander? Because they're in a lot of similar.
I think I would take Xander. I think overall skill set and where he could get to, Cantlay might be the better talent.
Fair, yeah.
But Xander's already kind of there. But I could also see that we never hear from Xander Schauffele again. Like, that was just his year, and now he's just some guy who gets demoted back to the web.com tour in 2 years. He could be that guy, too. I'm excited to see what the future holds for him. Number 4 on my list. I said we'd get to him, and now we're getting to him. Jon Rahm.
Yeah.
Could things go horribly wrong for him this year? Because the only reason I say that is because going into last year, everyone, lock and load, Jason Day. Jason Day is going to be the best. 2 years before that, Jordan Spieth coming off this big year, lock in Jordan Spieth for every major. He kind of had a down year. It's hard to string together 2 really good seasons in a row. And someone as volatile as Rahm, who I don't want to say he's mentally weak, but I really feel like he gets in his own head and his emotions allow him not to win some things. But we've already seen him compete in big tournaments, win big tournaments. He's a great player. Skill set wise, he is up there. He might be 5 years from now better than Dustin is right now. They have the same skill set. When you look at leaderboards and events that Dustin Johnson did well in this year, who's right behind him every time? Jon Rahm. And he's that good.
And Dustin Johnson was not as good around the greens as Jon Rahm is today. At that age,
Dustin Johnson has gotten a lot better around.
No, but
the
I
greens.
mean when he was the age that Jon Rahm is. Like there's a Phil said last year that he's unequivocally a top 5 player in the world today, and that was, I believe, right around maybe just before or after the Torrey Pines victory. We all know Phil's close. His brother was his coach. Yada, yada, yada. And good for John.
Phil probably paid him to go to Arizona State.
Yeah, and Phil needs to find Phil needs a partner for all those Tuesday cash games pre-tournament. If he's got RAHM, he's in good shape. I'm so, like you said, could it go bad? Maybe. I'm very confident it will go right, but I was probably confident it would go right for these other players that you just listed. What he did at courses he had never played on before, like I mentioned with Fleetwood and Hatton, it was that times like 10.
It was impressive.
It was so impressive. Not to mention on Wednesday, Pat, like whatever city they're in, he's like an American tourist, like at the hot spot with his girlfriend with her bags. I mean, this guy kills it. But when he goes back to New York, he's not going to the Eiffel. He's not going to the Statue of Liberty because he did that already. He doesn't even go to Yankee Stadium. It's gonna be more about golf.
He's my number 4. I love John.
Yeah, no, he was so high, like unfairly high. But what he did, like all those the nonstop top 10s, it's almost like for my friends who didn't bet golf, but sometimes like who should I bet? And it's really like I don't know, man. Like all I'm trying to do for them, like I am for myself, is like I don't know. I want to give my friends a name who, when they put it on at 2:00 on Sunday,
they're there.
They see them. John Rahm, without fail. I'm not expecting backwards this year. I'm not.
So I believe he's the number 5 player in the world.
He only won what? He won
Torrey Pines.
And then
he won the
Irish Open.
I feel like he won another one too. Maybe not. Did he win a FedEx Cup?
No.
He won one of those? He came 3rd in the one Dustin beat Spieth in the playoff.
A lot of seconds. He's 2nd at the match play. We had
anytime Dustin did really well, Rahm was right there. Basically.
Yeah. Win at babies don't win at Torrey Pines.
That putt on 18, the eagle to seal it. Because he stormed back on Sunday. That was a good spot for him. Like if he had gone into the day up by 3, he could have went full. Okay. You know who didn't make either one of our lists or notable mentions that I do want to give a special shout out for, that I do get excited every time I see him play well? Charlie Hoffman.
Yeah, of course.
Most Golf Channel birdies in the biz.
Most Golf Channel birdies.
That's why I thought he was going to win the Hero, because it was on Golf Channel.
And one of our big fans is like in with Charlie.
Yeah. Caddied for him at the Canadian.
At the Canadian, the practice. I walked a few holes with him on the Thursday, Friday there, where Charlie was on his heater.
And Charlie seems like a good guy too.
Oh, what a guy! What a guy! Even treated him when he went down to Bridgestone for the few weeks later. Set people up. Thing with Rahm is, you alluded to it. I'm happy you brought it up, because we have not seen John Rahm on Major Sunday with that like 2-stroke lead or tied because that Torrey Pines win, you mentioned it was from the pack, and that sets up perfectly, especially for a first win. But for all these times John Rahm contended, for all those times he was on that first page, he didn't like do it. He did it when it was like, whoa, like the heater.
I believe even in Ireland,
that was he was up so big. I believe that was like the win. He
dominated that week.
There's just a word that's like, yeah. I don't even want to use the word what he did to that place, but he literally annihilated it. I don't even know if it's fair to work it into this narrative or against the narrative, but that is one thing. Yes, I'm very excited to see, and he needs to win more because he was in contention way too much for not.
Yeah, I mean, all those finishes got him to number 5 in the world.
He's a baby.
But do you think that we have this discussion this time next year? John Rahm is currently 5th in the world. Where is he in the world next year? So I think he's either like 1 or 22.
I say he's still inside the top 5, and I believe he acknowledges what he needs to work on between the ears. Like, he's acknowledged that.
He's an angry
and he's
guy.
He's still so young.
He's like, what, 21, 22?
Yeah, so there it is.
And the one good thing about Rahm, at least from a betting perspective, and we saw this with Dustin for like 10 straight years, he just wins somewhere. Always. No matter how good or poorly he was playing, one week he would just show up and just be way better than everyone else.
Because in the end, as long as he's not making a double or a triple, there's a lot of courses where he'll make so many birdies, the only thing that can really hurt him is a big number.
And he makes birdies at courses where people don't make birdies. Like, there's certain holes where it's just like, oh, this course is like, you're playing for par on this par 4. Not John Rahm. He's going at the pin. And that's always a big advantage. It's the same advantage Dustin and Rory have.
You talk major odds. Like, what is John Rahm's odds in Phoenix next year?
Bubba will be there. Brooks will be there. Rahm will be there.
Always there. Rickie's been there.
Hideki and Rickie being there will push Rahm down to like 14. That might be a nice bet.
Because that last year, it was the week after he got his first win.
Yeah.
So it's like, I can't wait to bet RAHM Phoenix. I can't wait to bet RAHM
And then he
Phoenix.
wins.
He wins at Torrey Pines. Like, oh my God. Just set up horribly.
Yeah.
Not this year.
I did that with the one I remember talking to Cam at the time. We were doing the one and dones. I was like, I'm not going to take RAHM this week. I want to take RAHM next week.
Yeah.
And they won. I was like, oh, no.
Yeah. So that happens.
Also, as the Siege pointed out to me when we were doing the football show, it actually worked with Denver's defense. I was like, I don't want to use Denver's defense this week. I want to use them in their smash spot next week. He's like, whenever that happens, just use them the week before. Because that's usually when they go off. And by the time you use them and everyone's real pumped for them, it's not when it happens. So just think about that. If you're setting up, it's like in the one and done. You know what's never a good idea? Saving people for something. Like all the people who saved Rory and then he's out for the year. It's like, oh. Should have used Rory.
I'm not really a saver.
I'm not a saver either. Just use your guy. You'll find people to.
And like I said,
you'll find Xander Scheifele to pick up for the
or
tour championship.
Billy Horschel or Chris Kirk, like guys that you'd have no interest in picking. They make themselves pickable.
Number 3.
I'm curious how our top 3, what sort of symmetry and maybe names.
Well, I know we have
people.
2. I know that we have 2 of the same guys.
And you probably know who my third name.
I don't know. I'm curious to know who your third name is. Who is it?
Well, we're hot. Well, it's a guy I've been really. Well, whatever. We'll get there.
We're there. Tell me who it is.
It's Rickie Fowler.
Oh yeah, you didn't make my list.
Oh, that's really disappointing. Because I think it's exciting, whether it happens or it doesn't. I'm full in. Just like how you guys used to know me on Dustin. That now and I'm not like oh my God, like Fienberg called Rickie would win a major and he wins it. Like no one's like calling anything that like.
No one's gonna be. Everyone expects him to win, but that's always the thing with him. People have expected him to be the best player in the world for the last 4 years. He doesn't make that leap.
The best analogy I saw was a comparable to Jason Day. And how many times Jason Day won in like his first 100 starts on tour. I'm like, what the hell?
Why isn't he winning majors?
Why can't he? What is going on here? And then it just freaking clicked, and it was like 9 in like a year.
But you know what? We even say that about Jason Day. He has 1 major win.
Fine, but I'm just talking about what.
It's hard to get them.
That major, I'm confident is coming, but the wins and the contention of player of the year, I think is really is there. And I'm not like to even say that like you're not going on any limb. I would, rather if someone in like your fantasy league wants to draft like Rickie 3rd overall and leave you like Rory at 5th, that's awesome. But I truly believe he led the tour in scoring average last year. He had so many late tee times when he didn't come through. I believe he's going to come through. I believe he's going to hit that winner's circle the same way Justin Thomas did. It's going to be more than once. He won at Honda. Have the stats that he had to win one time last year is like insane.
But that's what worries me about him. He had the best statistical season he'll ever have, and he won once.
Ever from driving accuracy to putting.
But he won once. What happens if he's not as good this year?
I think he's better. I think it's all coming. I'm so in.
He didn't make my anti-list, anything like that. I do get excited for Rickie Fowler. He's just not on my top 10.
And whether it's going to happen or not, I think he's a player people should be excited for. I will acknowledge he went out there on Sunday at Augusta in the same group as Jordan Spieth.
And they both shit the bed.
Well, Rickie, literally gas canned himself. The one thing I worry about Rickie is, he's had late tee times in majors, but he hasn't had that major that you're like, he blew it. And you worry that has to...
Well, he blows it so early in the majors. Like, by hole 5, he's out of it.
But you know what I mean? Like,
I do.
Like, he doesn't have
But do you know why he does that? Because he makes 8s. I know. Best bogey percentage. Makes the fewest amount of bogeys on tour, but he probably makes the most 9s. That's never a good thing.
And that is... And I said it a lot last year, and you made the comparable.
He's Phil.
It is Phil-esque, but we're not there.
Okay.
We're not
But
there.
maybe he flips it like Phil did. And then all of a sudden he doesn't make those for 8 straight years and he wins 4 majors.
All the wins. 2018. The most wins in 2018. Rickie Fowler.
Okay. The number 3 player on my list is the number 1 player in the world. Potential favorite of yours. Anytime Dustin is in a tournament, it's just it's amazing to watch him. When he's rolling and he's hitting 350 drives down the middle of the fairway. Like, when his driving game is on, like, I think that people don't realize that. Like, people think, like, hey, Tony Finau is a big bomber, and he'll put it into the woods from time to time. When Dustin clicked, that went away. He's down the middle, nails every single time. And ever since he won the U.S. Open, man, he's great to watch. The fact that he can putt now, it's like, what? What is this?
And
That's unfair.
His ability to go after pins from that like 90 to like 105 range,
and also from like 210 too,
is just so awesome.
And
he's not on my list because I felt it would be a little disingenuous. But you said it. You just watching him in the flesh at Glen Abbey, you know, a course that can be ripped apart, and he had a couple heater days. He made a couple big numbers that really.
That's when he was still coming back from the back injury.
But you saw like early glimpses, like, oh my God, it's coming. It was literally like watching. At least for me, it was like watching. Like, I don't even know what to say, but on a Thursday, being like 10 feet from him with very few people. It was truly an amazing experience, and you can't really appreciate how awesome he is and how tall a drink of water he is.
I brought this up on the other show about the shot of the year. I think DJ had it, but some contenders for shot of the year just sticking out in my mind, and people could have completely different ones. Spieth out of the bunker at the Travelers to win in the playoff was pretty awesome. Poulter out of the woods at the Players on 18 to come in second was pretty awesome. That was just a really tough shot. Justin Thomas, round 3, number 16 at the U.S. Open, going after that par 4 off the tee and like cutting off the mountain to get it onto the green. But Dustin's drive in the playoff, first round of the FedEx Cup playoff to beat Spieth, where he took on the water and just put it over the water. It was just like, no one else can do this.
That was also 5 minutes after he did the most Spieth thing ever and hit that like 22-footer.
Yeah, Dustin did.
Yeah. He like channeled his inner Jordan, hit that putt, and then went to the tee and said, watch this.
That was also a really underrated battle, too, because even coming down the stretch, remember DJ put it into the bunker, but then chipped it close and made the par and got out of there, and Spieth put it way by, but then Spieth made like the 25-foot par putt. Like, that was an awesome ending. What was that one called?
The Northern Trust?
It was the Northern Trust.
The first FedEx event.
They changed all the names this year, but yeah, it was the Northern Trust. Any more shots you can think of? I feel like I'm missing like important ones. Sergio's shot at 15 at the Masters.
Yeah, that one's big. I just like weird things off my mind, like a Bill Haas chip in a match play. Kind of like a crazy one has me, and even the Kisner Cam Smith.
Yeah, Kisner chipping in to force the playoff was just so horrible for me.
I don't know. Obviously, the Spieth bunker rake toss. Shots are kind of all a blur right now. If you mentioned like an event, maybe I could. Mark Leishman's eagle at Bay Hill.
Vegas's putt at the Canadian Open when he made on like 12 when he was starting his heater, and he made like a 70-foot birdie putt. And it was like, he can't miss. This is bad. Bad news for my Charlie Hoffman shares.
DJ. Does he go to the mat? Like,
yeah.
What major?
DJ wins a major this year. Yeah. Probably the U.S. Open. Maybe the PGA Championship.
He just wins the major that he's hot for.
Yeah.
There's no...
If you see him building up, just take him.
Yeah.
But he probably would have won the Masters last year.
Probably.
If he hadn't fallen down the stairs.
You still think it was a sex swing or something?
I don't know what it was, but that's not what happened. He might have been coked out in his place the night before and like fell down the stairs. Something like that. There's something missing from that story, it feels like.
Yeah, for sure.
Number 2 on your list. I know you and I have the same 1 and 2, but we might have them in reverse order.
We probably do have them in reverse order. So how do we do this?
Who is your number 2?
My number 2 is Rory.
My number 2 is Tiger Woods.
And my number 1 is Tiger Woods.
My number 1 is Rory McILROy.
We're on the same page. We believe Rory is like, I believe, like I said, for your drafts right now, because he's like kind of the guy of the elite. I mean, yeah, there's Jason Day, but you know,
he's the elite guy. No one like. Yeah, Rory sucks. Like, does he suck?
No, like I
he
said,
doesn't. Rory's awesome.
Yeah, I'm the believer in Fowler, but like if someone wants to take Ricky Fowler ahead of Rory in your like season long like pools, snicker. And sit in that 4 or 5 pick, like laughing about it.
And it's not to say that Fowler can't have a better season than Rory, because Rory, as I continue to say, when you put everyone at 100%,
the best,
and everyone is just playing their best golf, Rory wins.
There's the one problem: Rory's floor is
horrible.
So much lower than other elite golfers. It's like, it's weird.
Well, Rory gets going bad for 9-hole stretches, and that's really what killed him last year. But like, even if you go back and look at the Open Championship last year, Rory started, I believe it was 6 over through the first 5 holes. I think he ended up coming 4th in the tournament. Like, he's so good.
He had the equipment changed last year. The ball, he changed the ball like days before the Masters, man. A lot of things. He got married. That's a good thing.
It just, when I see him rolling, and I always look back to the 2012 U.S. Open when he just lapped the field at Congressional. 4 players finished under par that week. Rory was 16 under. Why? Remember we always talk about that Jason Duffner one? He won the PGA Championship because he just stuck everything to 2 feet, you know, like over the final 2 days. Rory can do that for 20 rounds at a time. And it's like, whoa.
Here's the thing, and this goes at part of because when I get to these majors, I'm like, well, if they're at their best, who do I want? And I always want Rory over Jordan. Because
Jordan's just way more consistent.
Yes, because Jordan's birdie is like the 30-foot slide foot off his second shot's off a side hill lie that he puts to 28 feet and he hits a putt. When Rory's on, that second shot is from 90 yards and it's to 4 feet.
Yeah. So here's the
His
difference.
putter abandoned him all last year.
He couldn't putt last year. Then he got hurt. And he got hurt so early in the year in South Africa. And I think people just kind of forgot about it because he tried to play through it for a while and he just wasn't any good. It made him inconsistent to a point where we hadn't seen that sort of inconsistency before. Some rounds, remember when he threw the club in the water at Honda?
That was a few years ago.
It was, but he'll have that sort of stuff from time to time.
He will have more 80s than any other guy that we think is a top 5 golfer in the world.
But we sat here at this point last year, and everyone was lining up. Rory's going to win this. Rory's going to win that.
It's time to the Grand Slam, Masters.
Yeah, Hideki's going to win this. Hideki's going to win that. You know who's not going to have a good year? Jordan Spieth, because he wasn't great in 2016. And then Jordan goes out. Now this year, we're sitting at the exact same spot. We want to talk about Patrick Cantlay and Matthew Fitzpatrick. Rory, he's no good, though.
Do you want to also know something? To a player that I'm really high on, a year ago, Fowler was he didn't even win the year before.
He had his run. He's over.
He didn't even win the year before.
When you start thinking that way about these elite players, everyone knew Jason Day would win a major last year. He didn't. Everyone thought Rory would win 3. He didn't. But now we're 1 year removed from Rory going unconscious down the stretch of the FedEx Cup, translating that over into the Ryder Cup, and he was the best player on the planet, by far. Now we're 12 months later, people are iffy on him? Wait till Rory, I hope he has a bad month of January. I hope he goes to Dubai and sucks, and we start getting these major odds, like the U.S. Open. They drop from 12 to 1 to 20 to 1. Oh! Give me all the Rory.
It doesn't happen that way, because even when he was bad.
Hey, when the Masters opened last year, he was 8 to 1 to win. By the time the Masters came around, he was 22 to 1. He didn't win.
My point being is when he was in his really bad slump last year, around the British, his Quail Hollow PGA Championship odds were not getting touched.
No, they didn't, but he had also won twice at Quail Hollow. That was more of a course history thing factored in there. Just like how we're seeing Tommy Fleetwood 80 to 1 to win every major, except Karnowski, where he's 40 to 1.
Well, I don't know. I guess we're on the same page with this because as it pertains, if you tell me everyone's at their best,
Rory wins.
He's the best. That's it. Maybe Dustin, actually.
Or maybe Tiger Woods. What
at their best?
What are reasonable expectations for Tiger? I know sort of the thing is we all just say we want Tiger to be healthy. We just want Tiger to be around. But there's going to get to the point, let's say Tiger stays healthy. Let's say Tiger starts lingering. And, he shows up at Bay Hill. He's in one of the final 3 groups. Or he goes to Pebble. He's in one of the final 3 groups. How quickly does it turn on Tiger? Let's say he's good when he comes back. And he's competing but doesn't win anything. When does the conversation switch to, why can't Tiger win? If he's actually good in some of these tournaments. Right now, all we want to do is see him on Sunday and be like, hey, Tiger, this is great.
Yes, because in the time without him, whether it was with you a year and a half ago or in the last year, anytime it was Tiger, it was what I miss the most is that we don't get to see Tiger with this young generation of golfer. How they, just to see Tiger even on a Thursday in a group with a Fowler, in a group with a Dustin, in a group with a Rory, in a group with a Jordan, in a group with a Thomas. Even if it's Sunday and Dustin's in 40th place. And guess who's in 41st? And guess who's going out together? Tiger and Dustin. It's Sunday. No one's winning here. But I as a golf fan, I was sad that I thought that was something we had lost. Happy to have that back. So now, we're seeing good things. And we're seeing Tiger 3.0 because I never knew you during 1.0. We only really knew each other during 2.0, which was that like the try to returns. I'm going to try to be nicer. I'm not really healthy. It was all about like, am I going to grab the back? Now we're at 3.0. He seems healthy. He seems happy. He does these scrums like with a smile. How long does that last?
Well, he's just happy to be back.
Yes. This Tiger Woods of the past, where on the first hole, he'd shake your hand and literally death stare you and not say a word for the rest of the round is over. Because this new generation of young golf, like if Tiger's out there, these new young guys, you see like Jordan hit a great shot or something. He's like, good shot, Rickie. Like you hear it. The mics pick it up. That never happened before. At least in the Tiger
era.
Would never be like, nice lag, Jason. Like, not for a million years. I think we're going to get that. I think we get that all the time. My expectation is I want the schedule. Because what are his schedule expectations? When there's a WGC, am I crazy to think he should be playing in a subfield Puerto Rico to get a trophy to win? Or is that so beneath him to get the world rankings back so he can be in the WGCs
Well, that's the thing. He's not going to be invited to. I mean, they might make a special. That's the thing about.
Will they? The WGCs? Like, because NBC might say,
these people want money. You put Tiger in the tournament, you make money. That's how it works. So I could see special exemptions being made.
Have exemptions ever been made for WGCs before, ever?
I don't think so, but there's never really been a question for it. Like, no one really cares. But, like, Tiger's U.S. Open is up after this year. His 10 years is up. You don't think that if Tiger isn't qualified and healthy next year for the 2019 U.S. Open, that he's not getting a special exemption in? Fuck, they gave one to Retief Goosen.
But they didn't give one to Steve freaking Stricker, which was crazy. I agree Tiger will get one, but the embarrassment...
But think about the difference. Think about being like, oh, Steve Stricker should definitely get an exemption.
Whole Wisconsin thing.
But think of that was a case people were making. Steve Stricker needs a U.S. Open exemption.
Right. I see where you're going.
Tiger Woods needs one? No, Tiger, you're in.
That's like front page ESPN. Yeah. Like, it's not like golf. Like, what the hell? The USGA screwing over Stricker. And
good on Stricker. He got himself in anyway.
Yeah, good on Stricker. Legend.
Over under 0.5 wins for Tiger Woods in 2018.
He can win. I don't know if he will. I'm going to say the over because I don't want to pick
You just want it to happen.
I'm going to ask you this better question then. Who is like the comparable that I should be like, will Tiger Woods be as good as? Will Tiger Woods have a better season than?
Daniel Berger.
That's as. So you think that highly of Tiger?
I mean, what's Daniel Berger? Daniel Berger's the 20th best player on tour.
I'd have gone a bit farther back. Like for me, like for a 50.
Kevin Chappell.
That'd be a little
Who has a better
closer.
year, Kevin Kisner or Tiger Woods? I actually think it's Kevin Kisner.
Who's a better Hadwin or Woods?
Woods. If Woods is healthy, it's Woods.
Yes.
But, I mean, and then that gets back to the point. Like, we're happy to have Tiger back because he's healthy. I just want to see him stay healthy. No matter how poorly he's playing, if his back isn't, like, the thing that I fear the most watching golf is watching Tiger, like, kind of shank one a little bit, and when he goes and he makes, like, a double bogey or something, and when he walks up to that hole to pick the ball out, he gets the, just every time I've seen that, it's been disastrous immediately after.
And there was one time I remember, like, me and you had, like, a party. When he tried to come back, I think the first time, we had, like, Gary Woodland pick'ems in a tournament head-to-head, and Woods was gone by, like, the 6th hole.
Yeah.
So... I'm not cheering for any of that. I want it to all go well. I believe he can win it. Davis Love won like a year ago. Tiger can win.
Yeah.
Will he win a major? I'm not there. Because I think even if he brings his best game, one of these guys we discussed, a RAHM, a DJ, a Jordan,
but
someone's best.
That's also not off the table, and the Masters is the spot.
Yes, of course. But I don't know.
As opposed to the other three.
Agreed. I think he can win again, but I need to see the schedule before I want to agree to that kind of bet.
Well, here's the thing. Here's what he's playing for sure. He's playing Torrey for sure.
See, is he?
I would assume so.
No, because there's...
Why wouldn't he?
Well, no, because there is a lot of word. People are keeping an eye on this. There's a lot of, like, promotional material out there already, and he's not all part of it.
Well, I don't think he's committed. I think by the time Torrey comes around, the Farmers Insurance Open, he will be there.
Okay,
he will 100% be at Bay Hill.
See, this is where we got... I want to stop. Because you know where he's got to go.
He doesn't have to go to Dubai.
No! God forbid!
He's not doing that again.
No! He should be in Phoenix, Pat.
He should be. I agree,
There's
but
no
he won't be. Tiger wants to bet on the Super Bowl.
The Raiders won't be in it, pal.
He'll still be laying down a piece.
You're right. He could be at the game. But I just mean he's got to, like, Tory, you know what I worry about? The same thing last time he was there. He did a presser. It's like, I haven't played rough this thick in a year.
Yeah, but if he's serious about coming back and playing,
Sure, if he's healthy, he's not in the he's in the fairway more. I get it. But
also, the last time that he played the Farmers Insurance Open, he played in a group with Dustin and Hideki and won the 2 days against them. People forget that.
and then he got on a plane
And then hurt his back.
for the million.
Yeah. But either way, I think he plays Tory. I think he plays Bay Hill. He'll play Ernie's tournament because he always does. And he's won 9
You
times
don't think
there.
he'll play Honda? It's right down the street.
That's the thing.
Those are home games
I
now.
don't know what the other ones are, but those are the two that I would pencil in. Yes, absolutely. And then maybe 2 more. Like he probably plays
He's playing
Riviera.
PGA National. You know,
For sure.
There was actually a few weeks ago. There was I think it was last week.
I don't think that course sets up for him well though.
But I think
it's on like his back porch. But
there were people at PGA Nationals took pictures. He was like filming like they think he might be filming like a promotional bit for the tournament.
Okay, that's good.
I could be wrong.
That's good
Maybe
inside
it's just
info.
local stuff, but I think he's going to be there.
I think you'll see him play more in March than you will in February because he'll be wanting to get at least somewhat primed for Augusta.
But where's Florida? When is
Honda's
Honda?
Honda's beginning of March. Bay Hill is 2 weeks later.
100%. And yeah,
And it has that WGC and Valspar in between.
all of it. I don't know.
You might see him. I don't know how the schedule breaks down this year, but Houston's usually the week before, right? The one that Phil always plays to get prep for the Masters. Wherever the Texas one is.
Is it Byron Nelson?
No, it's Valero or it's Shell. It's one of those two.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, Shell's the week before the
Shell's the
major.
week before. You might see him go there. Might, but that would be a 20% chance of happening just to get prep for the Masters. Like you're not seeing him at the fucking Puerto Rico Open. That's not happening.
No, but I just want the schedule that's conducive to like the one that Davis Love won was the Wyndham. That's one he would play.
And Tiger has played in that in the past. And that was the last time he was ever competitive in a tournament was at the Wyndham 3 years ago now.
He had it was 3 rounds, right?
Yeah.
He almost did something good.
We saw him on Sunday. We saw the red on Sunday. That was good enough.
So I'll say over. I just the schedule. How many events is he playing?
He'll play Memorial.
100%.
He'll play Quicken Loans because I don't know if that's technically his tournament anymore. Like he's AT&T plus him are like the sponsors, but he usually always showed up to Congo to play. So that's on the table. Players, the majors.
See, but like places like Career Builders, like those
Yeah,
are the types of no rough courses that to me like would work perfect to him. Just getting confidence.
Yeah, but he doesn't care about that.
I know.
He doesn't care about winning Career Builder. He cares about winning the Players Championship.
I understand that, but I think that he is sort of. I would like to see him play event. I get it. He's still playing that schedule that super elites are play. I think he should expand that a bit.
All right. Our 10 players that we're excited about this year. We want to hear from you on Twitter, on Instagram, on the YouTube comment section, on iTunes, Audio Boom, whatever it is. We want to hear the 10 players you are excited about for 2018. That's me and Fienberg. You can follow Jeff on Twitter where?
At GFienberg17, FIEN.
And we will be back for every tournament breakdown for this season. You guys wanted it. I wanted it. Jeff wanted it. It has finally happened. Shout out to Cam Stewart for filling in last year and Bergerson and Zach at FantasyGolfInsider.com for giving Jeff a home last year as well. Remember to subscribe to Fantasy National. Use the free trial up until December 31st. Get your feet wet and you're going to love it. I swear to God. Pat Mayo, you can follow me at the PME on Twitter and check out our Majors preview show that is already up on the DraftKings YouTube page and my podcast feed under the Pat Mayo Experience on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and Audio Boom. I'm Pat Mayo. Enjoy golf in 2018. I'll see you next time.